excellence is the leading slogan here, that really top research, we always found, requires also international collaboration, especially in the current political climate. I think the international collaboration is extremely important, and 30 years of German postdoc fellowships really paid off. I have a short video message of the deputy of the German Federal Minister, Anja Karliczek. I should say best regards from our ministry.
Ms. Quintana, Dr. Nagel, Dr. Kay, Professor Wahlster, ladies and gentlemen. In 1988, the International Computer Science Institute, ICSI, was founded at the Berkeley University. It was an initiative of Norbert Schipersky, a business and informatics specialist, an entrepreneurial researcher, a businessman and advisor. And he builds a creative bridge between industry, between scientists, society, and politics. And this brings up a new path for computer science. He could not accept the lack of progress in Europe in the area of software development and computer science. And he creates the Institute to spur joint progress by the United States and Germany. And this gives a very good network. The ICSI is a globally leading research center. And this is an excellent achievement. The federal government of Germany focused over decades on this international cooperation in these major research fields. Networking creates pioneering findings in basic research, best young computer scientists, and brings the societies together. In the last 30 years, a generation of computer scientists from the ICSI returned home to their countries, highly qualified with international contacts. Young German researchers benefit from expertise at the ICSI in artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and development of algorithms. All topics of high priority in Germany. Many researchers return to Germany. 95% of the doctoral students, 80% of the postdocs after the FIT Worldwide Exchange Program. The attractiveness of the ICSI bridging function benefits for people, for ideas, and joint transatlantic projects. For example, the cooperation of the German Research Center for Artificial Intelligence, DFKI, and the ICSI concerning automotive voice assistance. That's the launch of a number of startups. For example, SamFox was sold last week for 20 million euros. And this shows how values were created, how transfer from research to economy can succeed. Multimodal dialogue systems linking the driver and the vehicle is used by VW, and 10 years after the end of the project, the system is used in more than 13 million cars. This is an excellent example of technological transfer, and it benefits for people. The federal government of Germany is just working on a strategy for artificial intelligence. We will launch it in November 2018. The ICSI has an impressive past achievement and a promising future. And we will continue to support the ICIF.
I think that's the most important sentence. Okay, so thank you. Yeah, both ICSI and DFK were established in the same year, so I also have the 30th anniversary of DFK, and I think we share a lot of common interests. I don't have the time to go into much detail, but of course we have a good exchange with deep learning. I will show some examples. Industry 4.0, cyber manufacturing are extremely interesting topics for both institutions in Germany and US, and internet forensics. I think the German postdoc program was really a blueprint to other international programs coming from Germany. So we did this for Tokyo in Japan. I think Scott knows it, and NII, this is the National Institute of Informatics in Tokyo. It followed ICSI a couple of years ago, and we have this now. And they expanded a program of Fit Worldwide, which will start next year. Also includes Haifa, University of Haifa, and Technion in Israel. Also Edmonton in the Machine Learning Center will be added. So you see that it's a pioneering effort here at ICSI, what we had. And actually, there were already 534 postdocs over the years from Germany. The return rate, as we heard, was 80% for the postdocs. 50% of these people are now professors. So about 260 professors in Germany are actually, ICSI alumni. Just to give you some example that actually the career is boosted for these people when they come here. Good example is Oliver Günther. He's now the president of one of the oldest university in Germany. Actually, around 1700, Leibniz was already involved in this university. And Leibniz, as we all know, invented the binary system in Germany, binary number system. And Oliver is now the president. Johannes Helbig was here. He was the CIO of the year, and he was actually the chief innovation officer of DHL, a company with more than 200,000 employees. Damian Bord is the most recent example. Some of you still know him. He was here just 2 years ago for the first time, and he came back to DFK, and a couple of months later he already was full professor at the University of St. Gallen, one of the best European business informatics schools in Switzerland. Another good example is that some people don't accept jobs at the universities or German companies, but they work for US companies in Germany. Another good example is our colleague Wieland Hohlfelder. He is running now the Google Center in Munich. He has 700 Googlers working for him in Munich, and actually when you are using Chrome, I'm sure you use Chrome from time to time, it has been developed in most of the components in Munich actually at this center by a guy who was spent some 2 years actually here at Berkeley. Of course, there are some German postdocs which make a career at ICSI. They don't come back, 20%, too bad. But a very good role model is Robin. I think Robin, he got his PhD in 2005 at the University of Munich under the supervision of Anja Feldmann, one of my good friends. She is now back in Saarbrücken, and he worked on intrusion detection in high-performance environments. Then he became a senior researcher over the times here at ICSI in the networking and security group, where he led the team for Open Source Pro, as we all know. And now he is a CTO and co-founder of CoreLight, a startup offering professional pro security solutions to enterprise customers. Actually, his former office, I went there quite often, it looked like the Bavarian embassy. They actually showed the Bavarian flag from time to time. Anyway, I want to make one point for the future. I think we should go back to a mode where we have more collaborative research programs, really big programs, not just postdoc exchange. I see a big chance in this. Actually, I did this with Morgan in around 2000. We had a big program, SmartCom, I think 25 million funding, and we gave some subcontracts to ICSI, the same for SmartWeb. Also Hervé Bollard, who is also in the audience, we together were running a European project, AMI, which was quite successful. And again, we had subcontracts. I think this idea of subcontract brings more money to ICSI in the future, and we should go back to such a mode. It was just mentioned that from time to time, this technology, after a while, also is very valuable for practical application. Actually, from the joint SmartCom project, we produced a book together here with ICSI about it. It was one of the first Alexa and Siri-like systems for the car, very sophisticated multimodal dialogue, including gesture, speech, even eye gaze was analyzed. And this is now real. It's deployed in, as was said, 30 million cars, and all these were students around SmartCom. And not only SmartCom, in the last couple of weeks, just to show you an example, we have 80 spin-off companies. Many interacted with ICSI, and actually only in about 6 weeks we sold 3 companies for an enormous amount of money to other companies inside Germany. I think it's good to follow the slogan of Google for future internet research. Google is one of our shareholders, and we had a recent panel discussion with Sundar Pichai where he pointed out now we went from mobile first to AI first, and AI for good especially, and I made sure that actually we have some basic research funding grants, about 30 million for the next 5 years, very basic research in emergent machine learning, including explainable machine learning, but also the topic of minimalistic data sets for machine learning, so-called imitation learning on small data sets. Also immersive assistance based on ultra connectivity, which includes 5G, like Eyes of Things, where we have very small 1 square millimeter cameras all over the place. Self-learning for long-term autonomy is a very hot topic we are looking into now in our basic research, which means diving robots, which you really can do a job for more than 1 week underwater, fully autonomous. Hybrid teamwork is another hot topic where we could work together, also with the cyber manufacturer, because this is used, let's say, 3 robots and 3 humans working together in a social team. And finally, variable AI systems is a very interesting topic. We have a patent for instance, a system with 3 sensors and machine learning to predict a heart attack in the next 30 minutes, actually. Very useful for stressed managers, I guess. Pioneer Award, just to give you one example of a breakthrough, which we also work together with ICSI, it's actually Stella's group and Damian Board. They just received in Salt Lake City at the Computer Vision and Pattern Recognition conference the Pioneer Award for explainable deep networks, where the fundamental idea is that actually we can understand convolutional neural networks by quantifying the amount of input signal they let in. So we call the paper, What Do Deep Networks Like to See? Because it's analysis of the input space and what is preserved from the input and which parts of the input are actually ignored. And then you can come up with the total ordering of the audio encoders, which shows how these networks really work. Let me give another very important example. Ray, I think Ron mentioned that it's also the society, let's say computer science for the good and for the use of the society. And one thing is law enforcement. A very bad thing we all know is peer-to-peer networking with child sexual abuse. Actually, again, in cooperation, Damian, people here from the Vision Group, we developed a classifier which is now actively used by Interpol, the German and Swiss police, for multimodal analysis of acoustics and video by support vector machines. It has a very high accuracy of 95%, believe it or not, in separating legal adult porn from child abuse in video and acoustics, and it's actively used. We have now a follow-up project by the European Union to include even more, like for the law enforcement. It was already said that we are working on a new strategy together with France. Again, a very good opportunity, I think, to jump in from ICSI side. We are working, Merkel and Macron has a big plan for injecting some AI in French-German products, like the high-speed trains. We are working on an autonomous high-speed train, on the next generation of fully electric cars with autonomy. This is a smart, produced in France, designed in Germany, and of course Airbus, another very much future-oriented project, is the pilotless aircraft as a vision. We had the first AI summit after many years in May 2018 with 6 ministers, a lot of people from industry like the director of BMW, SAP, and some scientists, and the budget is about 700 million for the next 2 years. In 5 years, 2 billion euro. So again, very good funding opportunities for ICSI. And finally, let me mention another European activity. I'm sure some of you know the CLARE initiative of the European Commission, which has this slogan, AI for all of AI, and human-centric AI. And I think this is also the idea in ICSI's vision in most of the projects. So that means that I think DFKI and ICSI together will go to the next 30 years, and I hope we can increase again the funding from Germany and from the European Commission in the next 30 years, but now I'm fighting for the next 3 years first. Thank you very much for your attention.